Hello, very good evening to you, and I'm Abhilash. I hope you are able to see me live on YouTube as well. Welcome to today's session, and today's session will be all about interview stage for UPSC. Firstly, congratulations to all the candidates who have got their names in for the interview next stage, and they are able to qualify for the written test and appear next phase. So, firstly, people who are doing getting for the first time, really they deserve the kind of effort and time they have put. Definitely, you should now gear up and do not miss this opportunity which is given. That this has to be the best attempt. And the people who have got this as a repeat attempt on interview, definitely, there's a saying, क्या कमी रह गई थी सुधार करो. और जब तक लहरों से डर कर नौका पार नहीं होती, हिम्मत करने वालों की कभी हार नहीं होती. तो there has been some mistake, something which has not was not in favor of for you, that you couldn't feature in final list till today. But with the upcoming opportunity, ensure that you give it your best and you are in your best of version, and you are able to uh, appear this interview stage with much better confidence, and with a very different result and outcome which happened than the last time. So with that, I would like to take up the session, and I know this is a little uh, I would be joined by my, I would say, student, previous student, and now a mentor also, Dr. Alok, in a while. But while he joins in, comes in, I would take up the session. The I have tried to collate and keeping the time intact things in a very more uh, narrow manner. So today's session plan, you will see that what is the scheme of examination, interview stage, a little more on the interview stage and its relevance. What are the myth about the interview stage once the crack the result comes out, and what people talk about interview stage. What are the key elements of success, which is from the various people who have been able to crack this interview. Key skills for effective performance. What are the key skills? Now, if you are giving the repeat attempt at interview stage, what should be your approach? And definitely a bit about the personalized interview mentoring program, which I offer, and how to enroll for that. Before I start, let me tell a little bit about me. I'm Abhilash, and I have been mentoring UPSC Civil Services Examination aspirant for the last 15 years. In 2007 to 2010, I attempted this exam, and in 2008, I qualified it, and I was in reserve list. But the service allocation did not happen. and the life moved on. So during that eras, we had 4 attempts and two optionals. I had geography and public administration as an optional. And from 2011, the CSAT came in and the trends changed. And from 2014, I think 6 attempts have come for 32 years, still 32 years for general category. So having said that, having somebody who has given the exam and also qualified, and then come into professional mentoring and teaching during 2014-15. I was with a reputed institute in of Delhi, and I was a faculty for GS geography, GS studies, and essay, and then the interview programs. I initiated one program called reviseforis.com, which was to help needy candidates in revision. I have followed this kind of a what I missed out during my preparation. I felt I should be able to offer it, and it was like a friend in need is friend indeed kind of a follow up. So I created this portal, and uh, so I had two programs. One was about the 35-day revision plan, and then another was the interview program. So now I do not endorse any of my past results as a candidate's name or things like that. My belief is somebody's, if you feature out in the final list, it is your own effort, your own destiny. It is no coaching institute, no person, no teacher can alone do it. It's a magic or a conspiration of the entire universe, stakeholders, blessings of all the good deeds and everything which comes together. So the credit is to the of the candidate, not for us. But yes, I do share certain numbers of uh, which also motivates me to come, dedicate myself further every year by year. All this started with basically a lot of inspiration from, or in fact, push from my own students like Dr. Alok and many other who kind of forced me that you should start a program about it. And this is how the program is all about. While I talk about the program later, so I have kind of told like who am I and why should you be listening this session. Generally, I take in English medium and I take the English session, but because ये interview है, I will try to be in a mixed mode. But my fluency is both in English and Hindi, whereas the preparation of content or whatever activity I do study material related is in English medium. Coming to the scheme of examination, if you have seen the notification, I'm sure you're aware that the first stage A was preliminary examination where you give the prelims exam, then the result was there and many were filtered out and now there were people who are giving the mains examination, and then came the mains result here today, December 9th, and around 2,600 people have qualified for the interview stage. Now you can see the interview stage is the interview stage is personality test, and it is about 275 marks. Total marks of the examination which are calculated for merit is around 2025, out of which written test are 1750 and 275 are personality test. Now, I hope this is very clear with each one of us who is giving this interview stage that next game is about 275 marks and we are focusing on that itself. Now, let us see that, or let us try to imagine this that the examination interview usually happens for 20 to 30 minutes. It happens in the UPSC office in Shahjahan Road in New Delhi. And there is a board of 5 to 6 members who are around you in front of you, and you are in front of them in a semicircular seating manner. And there is a conversation which happens for 25 to 30 minutes. That's it. And that decides how has been your performance in your personality test. Now, the conversation can happen from, because it's a conversation, it needs to have one, mutual agreeable point of discussion. And then from there, it starts on various topic as per the board or as per the member who asks on looking at you. This 25 to 30 minutes has the power or weightage of 275 marks. And this is considered mostly as the final hurdle of the UPSC selection process. The day you give interview, within the next 24 hours or 48 hours, you are scheduled to give your medical examination answer. And mostly people give it like until unless there is some, certificate required and other, special conditions. But mostly the medical exam happens immediately after your next day after your interview. So people who travel or are given the travel allowance to come to Delhi for interview, they are also expected to stay for further more time and do their medicals and go. Now, interview is the first time from a roll number will have a face. That is, till now in prelims you had a roll number, in mains you had a roll number. It is only on the day of interview that the roll number will have a face, and UPSC will actually come to know, okay, roll number XYZ is this person who's sitting in front of me. So that is what is interview in a very short manner. The moment you crack this interview, I want to come to the next slide. The moment you crack this written test, you will see that lot of people, lot of information overload happens. There are certain myths, there are certain, I would say, with UPSC or IAS exam, the hashtag IAS exam or civil services exam is very important or very relevant. It kind of gives value to that particular information. So a whole lot of time myth happens. So there'll be like so many questions, so many quiz, WhatsApp forwards, which kind of says that this was asked in UPSC, this is the interview question of UPSC, things like that, just to add value to their forward. Nothing is true or this thing. So one of the first myths which we can discuss here is, which might bother you also. Final rank depends solely on interview marks. Now, this looks, because what happens, 2,600 people have cleared prelims, have preferred, not cleared mains written, and they are bound to go and give the interview. Now, the vacancy is only 1050 as per the updated vacancy. So, from 2,600, how many people can sit in 1050? 1050 only. And from 1050, if they are taken, then what happens to another 1,500 people? They are not taken. So people who are not taken, they would feel that just because I scored bad in my interview, I was not taken. But if you analyze the question paper, sorry, mark sheet, if you analyze the mark sheet of all these 1,500 people, you will start realizing or seeing a pattern that, okay, interviews numbers spike up for few individual candidates, but averagely the performances are almost similar in the line. But the mains mark is the backbone which actually tells whether they could have anyways cracked. Had they got 275 out of 275, could have they cracked the exam? Which is obviously not possible, getting 275 out of 275, at least today. So you will see that the mains paper or the marks which was achieved in mains, they mostly have the highest weightage, and they kind of determine whether you will be in the list or not. It is not just the interview marks solely. The first myth is off. Second is interview tests knowledge. Now, usually what happens is when you say that I am appearing UPSC interview, everybody starts questioning you on the mini micro information to let you feel that you are incomplete, your knowledge is incomplete. Now, see, we cannot stop people from doing that. There is a habit in that. But in reality, the focus is not on exactly the correctedness of information or the depth of information in interview. It is how you take that particular question, how you answer it, and how you stand by, which shows your personality, attitude, and behavioral elements. Many times you will see there are questions which the interviewer asks the interviewee, that is the aspirant, and they are clueless about the topic, and they do not hesitate in saying, sir, pardon me, sir, I'm unaware about it, I do not know anything around it, or pardon me, sir, I have a limited information about it, I may not be able to suffice with my information. So these are the way very smartly people handle. Then comes his next myth. So you must answer each and every question. Now, many times these interview programs have two assumptions. First, UPSC interview is considered as an interrogation, not an interview. So it is like interrogation which they show of a criminal or somebody, that everything you have to answer. It's a confession box. You have to answer truthfully. But in reality, it is not like that. There are questions which you may not genuinely have any answer. You can say that, as I mentioned in previous slide. So that now is situation to situation. Once we interact, we talk, we realize that areas of strength, areas of weakness where we can answer and not answer. Then comes fluency in English is essential. Now, India is a country where we mimic the British, and entire our public services is based on the British foundation. And everything is in English, every book, every constitution, everything is mentioned in English. Now, this is where one feels underconfident, because we feel where writing English is okay, while speaking is where we find it, call it as public speaking, and we find a lot of challenge within. To be very frank, this in UPSC in current day is considered as conveying your thoughts and expressing your beliefs, thoughts. So it may not hold to have an Oxfordian English like that approach, but in fact, having a basic knowledge of English and a language to communicate your thoughts, which you can declare also while giving the DAF that I want to give my interview in this language. The next myth is wearing a suit is mandatory. Now, in fact, if you see the uh, notification, there is no as such dress code, but a formal attire, because it's a formal setup, is actually advisable. Second, next is academic records heavily influence scores. Now, this is again, I would say, cannot be generalized or is a myth, because the reality is your personality or your performances in the exam which you have given already, they have more weightage. And then comes the next is liberal board, this board is like that board is like that, these kind of questions keeps on coming. Now, best is to assume the fairness with any board, and best of assumptive would help us, or probabilities would help us stay grounded and humble, rather than feel that, okay, I did not get this board means I am not going to get at all, like that. Low marks reflect a poor personality. Now, you see the result when the final result comes and you have scored a very poor mark. But that is not a label to you. Many times situation may not be in favor to you where you're smart. It did not click altogether. So hence, uh, having a low mark in any of the personality test or in any attempt should not make you feel that you cannot overcome it or you cannot improve upon it. If you have belief in yourself, you are going to definitely work around you to bring your best on the table at the day of interview itself. So these are the certain myths which happen or kind of bother uh, everyone. Okay. So now I would also want to show people who are watching on stream that in the description, if you are qualified for interview for UPSC, if I'm giving this interview in this attempt, so you can be a part of this and join this personalized mentoring session, and you have all the details in the description itself. Okay. So what are the key elements of success? First and foremost is the mastery on the detailed application form which you have fit. The questions are stemmed from it. They come around it, or the first starting point is from the DAF. For example, what is the paper is that is in front of them is the DAF, summary of your draft. DAF. All the board member have the summary. All the board member have summary. So they are going to start to make you feel comfortable. So they will say, okay, come sit, tell me something about yourself. Please introduce yourself to the board. So this is where the challenge comes. That you they are trying to help you comfort yourself, and they are going to take the information from you only, whatever you have given. So you have written some hobby or some college institute, whatever the name you have given, you'll start from that only. Now what happens is, in our preparation, we write like a hobby reading books. Now reading book is a hobby they write. They will not say, okay, your hobby is reading books. No. They'll say, okay, tell me what was the last book you read and tell me 5 learnings you learned from it. Then you will start thinking, what is the last book I read? So if you fake something, saying some good book names, you automatically, it will, if something is information is current and fresh, your response time, your things, everything will show that you have read that book. But if there is not such things, immediately it will be caught. So your DAF information becomes very, very important for what exactly you are portraying. And that will enable what are the studies you should be doing. Next preparation element is your current affair knowledge. Now, all the current affair knowledge which is happening around, basically the interview happens when the budget session is around, February, around that time, and January, February, March. So budget is being spoken, parliament is on with budget, and everything is around, economic news are coming up. So a lot of conceptual clarity is required because that is the exactly event time of those things. And usually because it is happening in current, the questions are asked from that part. Next is they need smart people. They need smart people, and these smart people have the ability, the presence of mind, think on your feet, and handle unexpected questions. So they also kind of tangentially ask something which is not related to anything altogether. Not necessary that you have an answer for it, but yes, you it is necessary that you have this thing to it. So I'm also joined by mentor Dr. Alok. So we are together going to take the session. So hi, so thanks for joining.
Hello. Yes, sir.
Your voice is not audible yet.
Okay. Am I audible? Am I audible, sir?
I think I can't hear you.
Okay.
Just a second. Just a second. Yeah, can you say now?
Yes, sir. Am I audible?
Yeah. Thank you.
And sir, is
So
my video audible, sir?
yeah. Your video is visible as well.
Okay, sir.
So I think now I will. What I'll do is I'll try to put it in the. Mhm. Okay, your back camera is on.
Okay.
Yes, something very cold is happening.
Yes, sir. It's too cold here in Ranchi, so
Okay, fine. Thanks for joining. So we are on live. So I was just talking about the session and the scheme of exam and the kind of key element which decide your success. So I hope you can see the deck also.
yes, sir.
So let me just complete this and then I'll come to you. We'll have a discussion on the things.
Yeah,
Okay.
sure, sir. Yes, sir.
So I would like to introduce first Dr. Alok, and he is also, I mentioned, he's my student. He has uh, qualified for interview at least 4 times, and he has had multiple engagement or experiences of interview. Not just an interview, but the exam and as a whole. And as I mentioned, that this exam it's not necessary that exam defines you. So this person himself is a one of the country's top doctor from AIMS, and he's in the public service domain of medical healthcare. He's also continuing to doing it now also in medical healthcare, but he gave a shot towards his ambition, and definitely has a lot of immense experience in tackling this examination. And in fact, he's one of the person I mentioned that while I was introducing about myself, that why did I actually to take full time, and he is the person who kind of pushed that you should start and contribute in a more formal way, and we started this Elevate IAS. So he helps me whenever possible, uh, especially with his current expertise and his current experience in um, witnessing the UPSC interview in these last 2 3 years. So when it comes to understanding what exactly are the changes in UPSC, no better person than Alok to talk about it. And we will definitely come to that part, because like DAF information you have to fill, what kind of information, what is the limit of word, everything. Uh, Dr. Alok will highlight on exactly what you should be doing after the result has come in the next till the time you have the dates for DAF. So Dr. Alok, I will come back to you on the do's and don'ts for candidate who have just seen the result on 9th of December and are looking forward for what to be done next, and what exactly, a lot of information is there in the net, but what is your experience telling and how should they be ready for it for each day.
Yeah,
So
sir.
coming back
Surely.
to the topic at which I was talking about, the key elements of success. Here I mentioned that DAF mastery, what you're writing, you should be very much aware about it. Your current affair knowledge, your presence of mind, and that happens actually habitually. Honesty and articulation, and self-belief. If you go to the exam with the belief that it won't happen for you, write it, it won't happen for you. But if you go with this exam with a belief that outcome is sure, this is what I feel like, it is the best day happening for me, this is a great experience I'm learning, you will see the impact will be longer and better. But may not come in the result, or may not be quantified through rank list, but definitely it will have a great positive mark on it. Previous years, I had an aspirant who mentioned to me that, sir, I was unwell during my mains examination, and I know that I would have just passed my mains exam, but and I'm going to give for interview. So I exactly don't know how to handle the interview. She did not clear the interview, definitely, but because she knew that her mains were not good, but uh, she went with the interview with a very good score. She came back with it. Her personality was great. It's only the main score did not match up, which she was aware, because she was not well on the day of exam or something like that. So what I'm trying to tell you over here is, you somehow know the way the day is yours or not, and how to bring that day to yours is what we or I try to help you here in the personalized mentoring. So with this, the next topic or next way of looking at is basically, what is the key skills for effective performance. And this is mostly a little bit of, it is something to be practiced than spoken over here, and I'll quickly run through it. Obviously, your the way you communicate, the way you express yourself, the way you respond to the questions and answer in the discussion, your critical thinking, your structured thinking or unstructured thinking, your own problem solving ability during that time, and various leadership qualities which you see during that time, which can be a situation reaction test, a questions which is asked something very pertinent to particular geography or your own area of work or area of qualification, which can happen in any which way, an ethical dilemma, anything. So where they understand like how you are handling. Now coming to a basically tackling for the repeat attempters who are being with me. So what has happened is, see, you have already given this exam, you have seen the experience, the exam, you have had that nervous feeling when you have gone for the exam. You have maybe first time or second time, third time, it might be any which time you're giving. What happens is till this day, everything goes okay. But when it comes to the interview, there is something which is bothering you. See, your interview goes good, but mains mark was not bad, not well. The mains goes well, great, but the interview does not fare well. Both mains and interview goes well. Maybe your name does not come in the list because of the shortage of mark. So anything happens. You might be already in the service and you might be looking for, uh, better ranks. That can also happen while you are giving the exam repeatedly. So here the first and foremost thing is to remember, see if you have written your past transcript, analyze your performance, what has happened, or help discuss it with other mentors or somebody that exactly what could happen. Your narrative, obviously your side of the story. After that, you'll realize some or other you might be true to yourself, but you might not have understood the context then and there. But today, when you're discussing with me or Dr. Alok for that matter, it might sound to you, okay, I might have sounded rude. Okay, might have because I was trying to communicate in some other way and they would have understood this. And this happens to best of the people. Second is your knowledge base. Many times you become so casual that you have been giving interview. Sir, I was already in my work. Sir, I was already working. I could not get time to revise. I don't know what to do. Many times after mock interviews at the best of the institutes, the very good board says that you have to little bit improve upon your paper reading habit or your this thing. They give certain opinion, but you are unable to follow it or do a performance around it. So, or you ignore them for matter. I must tell you that many people are you should take benefit of the other people like this because they're trying to make yourself better in that make yourself better which is suitable for that particular career from that lens. So you go to a board and you say Arey, he's not an IAS, usko kya pata hoga. If you behave like that, it won't work in your favor also. So I was talking just a few time back that key. For example, the person who you are today and the person who qualifies the exam tomorrow, they are two different person. Your journey is from today's person to that particular person. How can you do that? It will happen through various ups and downs, various learning which happens like that. Then yes, feedback and also if possible, you can afford mock interviews, diverse panel do definitely appear there. So before I talk more about my program now, I would request Dr. Alok to give insight on his experience and what is the current activity aspirants should do after their results name has come and DAV has to be filled and other state of activities.
Okay, sir. Sir, I'm not able to see my video on the screen. Is there any setting or some? Is it visible?
I
Only
can
you
see.
are visible along with the this PPT.
Just a second.
Now I am able to see myself.
Yeah.
Okay. Shall I speak, sir? Okay, sir. So, like, I will share my experience of the interviews which I gave very recently, like to the last interview, the last to last, like 2021, 22, 23 interviews that happened. Like, my last interview happened in January 2024. So, I will share my insights, like how it feels in the real interview. Then I will talk about how you should go about the mock test which you are giving in old Rajinder Nagar or any panel of any mentoring institute or whatever. like what is the key difference between the mock preparation and the mock interview and the real interview, that I will share from my own perspective. And I think means like this you should focus upon the things which I will tell you. You should try to just try to follow what I am saying. Okay, because most of the people don't share these things because of different reasons. So just try to follow it. I will tell you that in interview, first of all, once you are, if you have the UPSC prospectus, just see in it, there are two parts of the exam. One is prelims exam, other is main exam. And in main exam only they have given the descriptive marks that certain number of marks is for written exam, and for interview 275 5 marks is allotted. So it comes down to approximately 13% marks for interview and rest of the marks during the mains exam. So and this interview they call it as a personality test. So what happens that your knowledge has been tested in the main exam itself. So you should not be bothering about your knowledge part in this uh, interview preparation. Most of the times, like my colleagues, many of the people which I met during my interview, when we were talking before the interview and after the interview during the medical examination, like when you are cool off and then you are talking with you are making new friends. At that time I realized that during the interview preparation, many of the people are like misdirected. They are focusing upon different things. But the real interview, I will tell you what it is all about. The real interview is to check the part that whatever knowledge you have, how you are applying that knowledge in field. Just let's take it as an example that after just clearing this exam, you are posted as a district collector in some city. And like I am assuming that whatever your training you will get at Labasna, it will be just the rules and how to means like go about. But the kind of person you have become, the knowledge your brain is carrying, that is from this preparation part only. That will not improve too much. But the kind of person you have become, the knowledge you have gained during the interview preparation, that will improve your about your previous knowledge, like what is the grievances over here and how do you take decisions at that point. So to check your reaction part, there is a personality test which UPSC has put as a main exam. Out of your 100% marks, 13% is allotted for to check your personality. In that, if I meet you, there is means like if I meet you, just consider that what I will talk to you, I will just talk to you about your what you have done in your life till now. So the in actual interview, what they do, that the chairperson will ask you to just okay, you are such and such. Some chairperson has different style. They will ask you that please introduce yourself. So it depends like what kind of chairperson is there. But first of all, he will throw you a means like opening question, and those are like these type of question. Like whenever you meet somebody on train, what do you ask? The weather is very nice today. Have you had your lunch? Did you take your tea? How is life going on? Such kind of. Once you are cool, then he will throw specific questions. And those are questions, they are just as a starter to start a conversation. And they are not bothering about the factual data which your brain is having. They have already checked in your main exam, written exam. So they are checking your like how you are utilizing your knowledge uh, there, how you are processing, what is your critical thinking at that point of time. They are checking your honesty. And just trust me, they all are, all the board members are like 55 to 65 years old people, and they have worked in various governments, private organizations. They have devoted their life to public services and all, and they are like all are big shots, so that they have been invited by UPSC to judge the personality of the person. So after having 25 to 30 years of experience in diverse fields, whatever you are saying out of those five people, somebody will catch up that whether you are saying something truth honestly or you are just trying to fake it. So the first foremost thing is that don't fake anything. Don't try to think that you can take those people for a ride. Whatever you have not done in your life, just tell upfront that sorry sir, this is the limitation of my, like I know only this much. Then the second part comes, whatever the questions they are asking, you have to answer those questions in a elaborate way, in a conversational way. It should not be like they asked one question and objectively you just answered that question. You should take like means like describe the situation and make it more of a conversational phenomenon. And this is the part where I felt that I have given like almost 30-40 mains throughout sorry, mock interviews in various coaching institutes throughout my like 3-4 interviews preparations which I did. So during that I and like the real interviews, 3 interviews I faced, and in that I felt that the mock interviews are not even closer to the real interview. Even the feedback which they are giving, they are not giving the feedback to improvise your reaction. They just give some people just give you that "Ki these facts are lacking, just improvise this area and all." But your honesty part, your application of knowledge part, the conversation part, most of the people are not engaging. Some coaching institutes give you that you did not engage us in the conversation, but the problem is that they are not trained to engage you in the conversational part. And various like controversial questions in mock interviews they don't ask, but in real interview they definitely go into the controversial parts also. They just ask your opinion about anything, and nothing is right or wrong. They just want that what you think about those things, and they will make a judgment about you that whether you are a rational person or not, whether you will apply all the knowledge which you are carrying in a most honest way to help the person who is sitting in front of you, the citizen of this country. So the all fundamental main thing is that they are just testing that whether you can apply your knowledge to improve the life of a citizen of this country or not. So in contrast to like a private sector interview, how this government sector interview is different, that by throwing some question, I just want to understand your attitude towards the poor or vulnerable section, that whether you feel that they need the help of the government, or you just think that some funds have been there and yeah, I will allocate such and such fund, or to what extent you are going to really take those funds to that person in a most honest way, applying means like being honestly applying the rules and procedures, and how you can help that person. So in situation based questions, these things you and once you are in a conversational modes, five people are judging you, they will understand that whether what type of personality you are carrying. So this is all about like real interview and mock. So I will tell you what you should be doing during the preparation of interview. First of all, some means like at least for one or two mock things, take some personalized mentorship also, and personal like if there is five people board and like they just give feedback to you in a formal ways, I feel that you take a informal interview with some senior or somebody, talk to them for 10-20 minutes, and after that take some feedback from them. That will help you. And also start meeting some new people whom you have never met, and those people should be like some knowledgeable in some domain, like your uncle or somebody, some person. Try to find, contact them, take your help of your family members, friends, or somebody. Go and meet that senior person, just talk to them. You will get to know that whenever a senior person is meeting me, what all curiosity they are having about you, or what kind of conversation you both people are having. And through that you will get a hint that how your interview will go up, what all questions will be thrown to you. So just try it, like to somebody knowledgeable person of some like 15-20 years of experience in any sector. Just go and do conversation with them. Just see what kind of questions they ask, how they talk to you, and try to copy those things during your interview. Over to sir, you.
Thank you. Thank you, Alok.
Yes.
Firstly, telling your experience in that way, I also want you to little bit highlight on what to do day wise. अभी रिजल्ट आया है 9 तारीख को, उनको डैफ भरना होगा, डैफ 2 भरना होगा, तो थोड़ी सी हाईलाइट उस पर कर दो, क्या क्या उस तरफ साइड पर करना है। अगर आपका कैटेगरी है, आपका अगर फिजिकल डिसेबिलिटी है, क्या क्या चीज़ का रेडीनेस होना चाहिए, ताकि जब वो इंटरव्यू के लिए भी जाएं, तो जब
I
वो
will tell you one thing, that filling the form is so important thing. Like one of the person whom I met during the interview, she forgot to write her category. She belongs to the some category, but somehow she just wrote general category in that. She forgot, and because of that she was not able to like appear during this mains, and she just lost her one attempt which she deserved genuinely. So this is the impact of filling your form very correctly. So whatever the columns in on Telegram, or you will find some empty daf. So just try take print out of that, fill those daf, and take that daf to some, any senior person who has given interview at least once. That's fine, and just try to ask them that what all I should fill. The rest means like all the form is asking the factual information about you. So there is no problem in that filling daf to rest of the portion, like your employment detail, your educational detail, whatever you have done, write honestly, truthfully. The second thing is that uh, your there is a column about some hobbies and like personal achievements in your life. So that column needs a special attention, because sometimes I have seen that many people clutter that section, and some things are not visible in them. And some people write too many hobbies, like 3, 4, 5 hobbies. So, and you should know that what is a hobby, and then only you will be able to tell. So, regarding the hobby part, I will tell you, even you can write one hobby. That's not a problem. So, like I have seen that many people with whom I have talked, they try to write 2 or 3 hobbies. Trust me, during UPSC preparation, if you are too serious, and so whatever hobby you were having during your 3, 4 years of preparation, you would have been cut off from your real hobbies. So, just before the exam, don't try to write too many hobbies. Even if you are pursuing one hobby or two hobby, just write that. This is the first thing. Then the second thing is that whatever hobby you have written, try to learn it, learn more about it, and it should be coming that if a person is having some hobby, like somebody is having a hobby of watching cricket, then he should be very knowledgeable about what all happens in the cricket arena, what all tournaments happened recently, and who all are the players and all. Similar way, somebody can have hobby of playing cricket. So these two things are different. So just don't write cricket, hobby cricket though. You write playing cricket or uh, watching cricket. So by this way, uh, you can do it, and you will find many literature in Telegram groups, PDF, like how to select a hobby. And this is the most important portion, because whatever hobby you will write, it will get logged, and during your interview, at least one board member will ask you regarding your hobby. If not your hobby, you might not get a feel that they asked directly from your hobby. But whatever hobby you have written, if in those 30 minutes you talk about something regarding that topic, and it came out that you talked very superficially about that thing, then somebody will judge you that this person is having such kind of hobby and he is very superficial about that. Like if some talk was happening regarding sports and you were not enthusiastic about the fitness of the players, if that was the topic being discussed in the conversation, so those people will judge you that, see, this person is having a hobby of watching cricket and he is not means like so much enthusiastic about sports, which usually should happen, that if you are enthusiastic about one sports, you in general for other sports you will be enthusiastic. So by just checking your enthusiasm they will judge you, and they might not ask question about your hobby, but they will take the judgment from there, and your marks, you will get some good means like more or less marks based on your that statement. So all those 30 minutes, whatever you are speaking, whatever facial expressions you are making, everything will matter. So this thing is there. So fill your DAF very carefully. You should invest full time to just fill your DAF. Take 3 4 days, fill a dummy DAF, then go to one mentor, second mentor, third mentor, do multiple revisions, and then finally fix the things, that okay, this much hobby I am writing, these one or two hobbies I am writing, these achievements I am going to write here, and then after that start preparing about those things, because your 10 to 20% of your interview will be regarding those areas. Then regarding current affairs and all, after filling DAF, start focusing upon that. So first part is fill your DAF carefully. Once it is filled, devote 5 to 10 days to know about your district, your state, like whatever those things we during your UPSC preparation you would not have gone into detail. And also what I used to do, like I belong to Jharkhand, so what I used to do, that I also read the local newspaper of Jharkhand. So usually during our UPSC preparation, we don't read local newspaper or local news. So, but during your interview preparation, you start reading about the local news, local newspaper, so that like sometime in all my interviews they asked about my city or like what kind of development, and just they wanted to know that whether I am well aware of my surroundings or not. So this is the thing. And then go for mocks. Okay, some people go for many mocks, some people go for less mocks. So it all depends. But during the mocks, I feel that stay in touch with one or two senior person who is watching very carefully. Like I got Abhilash sir as my mentor, and after the training which he gave me, he used to closely watch my things, like he used to talk to me sometimes by getting some bad feedback from any coaching institute, then I used to be like sad, then he used to tell me like, hey, how to take those feedback in a positive manner. So somebody should be there, otherwise this is very critical stage, because I will tell you, your selection depends upon your marks of mains, but your service depends upon your performance during your interview. This is averagely a true statement. What I mean to say, this applies to like 60 70% of the people. So even if your like mains is very means like, if your mains was very good and mains marks is very good and you perform bad in your interview, you will get selected, but your service will be something lower down services. It will not be IS or IFS, IPS. Similar way, if your mains marks is very low, but interview marks is very high, you will get selected, but you will not get the service of your choice. So this is very important thing. Even I have seen one of my friend, she has given, after getting selected, she has given 3 more attempts, and just because in her selection attempt she got means like 5 marks less in interview, and she is still struggling. So this is the importance of 5 marks or 10 marks in your interview.
Well,
And
Alok,
Like my
I'll cut you
experience.
over here. I'll cut you over here. For the reason is that key, I think when you have one-on-one with somebody, you can be much clear on that part.
Okay.
Right now, it is an information overload because it is also making anyone to, because outcome-based thinking or what will happen after is again a very anxiety-driven state of mind. So what we will do is I'll tell you the process of what exactly our interview program is all about. I'll just take a little bit moment about that. But before that, I would like to thank Alok for giving a detailed view and his entire experience in nutshell. But I also want to tell all the candidates who are listening that this thing, you should have a one-on-one with Alok or people who have given interview. He is trying to tell you the only thing is that don't be in your own space, which you have been while preparing. Open yourself to other people or people who are not aware about you and your personality. Understand what they imagine you as a personality. Then you will have a little bit picture of exactly what you are thinking you are and what others feel about you. How do you feel that I'm doing great, but other might not be equally responsive to your greatness, or what is your feeling. But honestly, uh, this, let us not keep it in an assumptive state, but rather more on a action oriented state. So I would like to conclude today's, the uh, session with a little bit on the program's detail. And so I have this. The personalized interview mentoring program is actually a one-on-one mentoring session. So it will have a one-on-one with me firstly to understand your UPSC journey and understand all the aspiration around it. Then your interview orientation. You may have already given interview, may have given for IFS, forest services, may have given for say any other services. We do not know, but let us have a one-on-one and understand. Your DAF discussion, assuming that you have filled your DAF, you are very clear that what you are going to fill, and especially after the inputs of Alok, where he mentioned that you download a empty DAF and get it verified from some mentors. See that you have some action verb when it says hobby. Don't just fulfill it for the sake which you can't stand by. Wherever you feel that this is what I've done, then a current affair session. So we have every bi-weekly current affair session. I invite you to be part of that, and it's a worksheet based session, and you just you will realize that it is not just about the knowledge of a current affair which is required, but having a perspective and having a strong opinion. While Alok mentioned many of the examples, I can give one example. For example, you know what happens with a lot of thing going about one election, one India. Summertime you get influence saying that should India have Akhand Bharat? Should there be a united country of India where you can take the regions back? And what exactly one day you are driving and you see in a nearby vehicle there is an accident happened, and the opposition, the leader of the opposition is injured and over there. Will you help or not help? Or due to ideological differences, you feel okay, that is how God has punished, or because these kind of situations which can make you feel and blurt out your exact mind or thought. So we discuss in that aspect, having your various perspective, somehow understanding your own persona which will reflect, and how we can use it in your own strength. Personality analysis is using the various psychometric tools which currently are available to understand and structure one's mindset. So that way, one helps. Basically, you might come from various background. This helps you to build up something better about, know about better about you and yourself. And then one session or multiple session where you speak out your own thoughts, where you are able to clearly, because what happens is again, the with the interview session, lot of knowledge pouring happens, and I know and I can empathize that how irritating it becomes that after some point of time your body or your mind is not ready to take any more knowledge. So discussing out, speaking out, understanding what is bothering is very important, and I am all ears to it. So the personalized interview mentoring is about that. uh, Please I know everybody will compare with what is the mock interview, will I get mock interview or not. You can discuss all your mock interview with us. There's no challenge. You go and visit mock interviews. I encourage you to be part of various mock interviews where board kind of representation are there. But in our case, or in my case here, it will be like one-on-one mock, and not a board driven mock, because what exactly we are trying to understand is help you to boost your performance, what you've already done in mock and how it is improving in each mock, or how what will happen in the final, that readiness. My whole and sole goal is to bring your best version during the final day of interview. That is what matters, not exactly other mocks or whatever it is. There is a value to the program. There's a 3000 plus GST, but okay, there is a catch. The catch is you pay only when you are in the final list. One catch is that. Okay. But there are people who would say, "Nahi, we want to pay and you don't need to feel." So you pay now also, you can pay now your program fees. And in case you're not in final list, then if you are appearing your exam again and again, you can be part of any of the other programs which will be going through that. That is what I can see. But don't consider this amount as a challenge for you to not join the process. Please schedule your one-to-one mentoring session. Fill the detailed form. The link is there in the YouTube description. You may fill it, and we will mutually agree on a one-on-one schedule to take the first session, and then we can discuss how to take forward. See, I would timely say again, don't consider money as a hindrance, because what I'm trying to offer, you may not feel that this is even necessary. But from my last 15 years experience and the kind of institutionalization has happened of the UPSC interview, people who crack the interview and the kind of people who are getting into services are somebody very different from what the projection or the marketing picture shows. And that is where personalized mentoring happens. And I don't want you to finish your interview and then come and realize that, okay, I had met a person, but I could not give time. So you should see that while you're preparing, you also take up a little bit of risk. It is not a risk from your side, it is risk from my side and my time and your time both. Okay. But ultimately, we are going to gain both together. And as I mentioned, there is a FAQ document which I want to share, which you will, once you fill in the form, you will receive the FAQ document. I will just show you. So if you can see the FAQ document in my screen, is it visible?
Yes, sir.
So you can see that this is a pattern on which this program runs, that we have a session for knowing yourself, then your DAF thread, then your goal clarity, role clarity for interview orientation. Current affair as bi-weekly session, you'll get the session link to be part of. Speaking out sessions. Then it will all happen in online through Zoom and WhatsApp for regular communication. I will take the session in English and Hindi as comfortable, and anyone, any medium student can take part of it. It's not as such this thing. But you have to see that you have already mentioned your language of interview in your DAF. तो आप उसी पे ही ध्यान रखेंगे, उसी तरीके से प्रिपेयर करेंगे. And people who are first time qualified for interview, will it be suitable for them? Yes, it will be suitable definitely. But ओवर एक्साइटमेंट, ओवर जोश में ऑल्सो अगर आप सोचोगे कि इसी से सब कुछ हो जाएगा, ऐसा होता नहीं है. You have to see, because UPSC is very smart. It will not give you the schedule immediately when is your coming. It will only give you a 4 weeks times a hand beforehand when your schedule comes. And patterns are very different. We cannot predict when your roll number will be called. So hence, these days batch by batch the names come. So we have to go by that, design by that. And once you have our one-on-one session, then we realize as per your what would be suitable. But having a knowledge on current affair and having a knowledge about your DAF, it is primary. And when it comes to knowledge about DAF, it is also about the state you belong to, the location you belong to, and all the things about you, the world around you, exactly. So mock interview, we do not actually consider it, take any mock. We do not have any board pattern. There is no physical one-to-one session. Anything doesn't happen. Whatever happens is one-on-one mock with myself, or one-on-one mock with Alok, or one-on-one mock with any other senior person who would be incoming in future. But they are all one-on-one mock, basically not to test your knowledge, but to give you an experience of how to turn your interview into a conversation pattern. Yes, there is a fees, but I mentioned you how you can give the fees. I have had result. As I mentioned, I do not endorse any names. I do not endorse any this thing as such, and I consider the success of the student as their own success. So there have been results who are there in the final list in their names. So I have put it as a number. If you want to know more, you can reach out to me and I will connect you and verify it with them. But even when you get successful, I would like to say that no need, it is not necessary for you to endorse any of such things. What is more important is when you have the opportunity of this interview which has come to your hand, utilize it best and become the best civil servant of the country, which is needed by the country. That is our goal for which we are serving. So, will there be any recorded session? Session which are recorded definitely will be shared, and session which are like our one-to-one sessions, maybe we'll see if we want to record it or not. But mostly, if it is in Zoom call, it will be recorded. But if it is in the what do you call Google Meet, then it will be tough for us to record. But we'll see on that front. So with that about program, all the details are there in YouTube description. You can see the details and fill the form. And you might be getting mails from me as well. But do not hesitate. Anything which is bothering you. अभी तो मैंने पूरा सेशन हिंदी इंग्लिश में ले लिया, बट ऐसी बात नहीं है. You might be in any part of the country. Please feel free to join, discuss your first level discussion. You don't feel to be associated, then all is good. But what is there is open up yourself to certain other new variety of new kind of people. They might help you to nurture and help you to utilize this crucial time till the time your interview comes to maybe bring out a new version of yourself. Okay. With that, I would like to thank Alok. And Alok, if you would like to say something now, and then we'll close
Thank
the
you,
call.
sir. So I am looking forward, I am very eager to share my experiences with the candidates who have got interview calls. So if we can schedule, I will be very means like to just to talk to you. I will be very happy. So that's all.
So another thing, and many who would have now listened to Alok would have see Alok. From my perspective, Alok is he's a genius mind, and he's a top notch in his field of work. He's a medical doctor. So when he comes from his way of perspective, it is very different from many of other people who are coming from different background. So do not take what Alok said from the front that it is challenging, because he has his own story, own background. He has created his own path. What he has seen and observed is something very exclusive to him, which once you discuss with him one on one, then you realize that how every unique personality has a special space in civil service of India. So in that perspective, he spoke. Okay, so do not undermine or do not be over judgmental about your own self even before you start, because somehow Alok is in a very high league of brains, and we are all normal people. So I keep on telling Alok on that front. But what I felt, what I want to say here is that many times your representation from your state counts a lot, because your inspiration are usually considered people from your state or your district who have uh, you know earlier be a part of the service. So when you come and schedule your session, kindly also check in your last 5 years who has cracked from your state and from maybe from your district. If you have a record of such thing, then in fact that will be a very good stepping stone for you to understand what exactly, you will get a little bit confidence that you have somebody known from your place also cracking the interview very well, or facing the interview very well. So with that, wishing you all the best, and let's not waste much time and start our engagement together. All the best. Thank you.
Best of luck.